And we are live. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And of course, I have some new news concerning Mr. Bill. Haney is in the building. He will be here momentarily. And we are on the countdown. So I hope you guys are ready for Mr. Haney. I do apologize for everybody across the pond. I know we are behind. It will be that way until the end of time. Bars. So we have to work with the time frame that we have presented to us. But nevertheless, we are here. Penny Royale T, really trying to stay awake. Haha, missed so many of your live streams recently. Thank you very much for the effort. And that's what you call hard work. Dedication. In my Floyd voice. Hard work, dedication. Penny Roll T. Thank you for the hard work and the dedication. H Money in the building. The man with the plan. Counterpunch to you, brother. We got 20 on the chat. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes up for Mr. Haney. And we have a lot of things going on in the sport of boxing that just happened recently. That's the thing that I love about boxing, okay? It's a lot of stuff that people don't know, and things happen and occur right up under our noses, you know. Just before Eddie Hearn has announced that Haney versus Linares is there. Brittany Devine, Counterpunch, Shelton Moore, Counterpunch, Jesus is coming back. What's up, brother? Counterpunch, AJ RX, Counterpunch, JP with the blessings in the building. Counterpunch, Martha Stubbs, saw you, Kurt, on the Lady Chan channel. Absolutely. I was there. That was I. Counterpunch, Martha. Mr. Blade Films, Counterpunch to you. He says, yo, Adrian. Kelvin, Freer, right? Probably not. But yeah, we had a little J_Mac Kid 7 in the building. Counterpunch to you, brother. So he's waiting for Mr. Haney to come on. He will be here momentarily. I just text him. So Frank Sheeran, Counterpunch to you, brother. Close enough, I know, right? Let's just go with Kelvin. How about that, Kelvin? Yeah, we'll just do the Kelvin. John Paul Joshua, what's good, big bruh? Glad to hang out with you for a bit. God bless. God bless you, John Paul Joshua. You're going to hang out with me and Mr. Haney. I know I ruffled a little little feathers about Lennox Lewis. I know. Lady Sean, hard work, dedication. Jaim 1985, Counterpunch to you. Counterpunch to you guys. Let's take a look here and see. All right. So how we guys doing? How we doing? Joel Dumas. Hey, Kurt, is it true Bill wants Fortuna, but Eddie wants Linares next for Devin? Obviously so. We gotta ask the man with the plan. We gotta ask the manager of the WBC lightweight champion of the world, Mr. Haney. Cisco Perez, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. The flying Isaacs, looking forward to this. Absolutely. Reptile Lifestyle. Did you watch Bill on another channel, Big Kurt? I have in the past. Reality Ray. I have to say I watch this channel more than any other one. Boxing Bros is good, but too long on some things. Reality Ray, appreciate it. I watch Boxing Bros too. I'll catch their content every so often, but see, the thing is, it's Boxing Bros, not a boxing dude. You know what I mean? Because like everyone has to get, their counter punches out there, their opinions, and that takes a while. So when they're normally doing things, when, they have to all let it, they have to get it all out. They have to discuss what they're going to discuss. So Boxing Bros is more like a boxing meeting because it's Boxing Bros. So if you have a little time, and that's the best thing that you could do, so.
Yeah.
Bill Haney, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Counter punch. Hey, are we live, brother? Let me see. Hold on. Can you hear me, brother?
I can. Can you hear me?
Man, it's a little staticky for some reason.
Little staticky?
Yeah, let me switch. Let me switch phones.
Okay. Audio KD. Bill Haney, The Truth. Brittany Devine. You guys follow Brittany Devine. Unbiased Opinion. Bill Haney. The Truth. Nice. Let's bring that on top. Skrilla 50 in the building. What's up, brother? Counter punch to you. You're getting the hottest interviews in the boxing community. Man, I'm trying. It is what it is. I love doing this shit. So getting down to the nitty gritty, seeing where people really stand, knowing how people really feel, seeing the real deal. Appreciate you, Daniel. Is it Asani? Love this channel because it's not biased, not that fanboy shit, but real facts only. Unbiased. That's how it's about. That's what it's about. But you would think. Add JJ from London. Counterpunch to you. Kurt Fortuna. Mark my words. Andre Rodriguez. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Counterpunch News. Fair and balanced. Greatness. Appreciate you, brother. Femi Cancel. Morning. It's 3:37 in the UK. Man, look, it's crazy. That saying, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Yeah, Daniel, it'll work out. It'll work out one way or the other. Actually do this for a living on ESPN or something. Yeah, maybe, sometime in the, sometime in the future, I'm sure. But you got to crawl before you can walk, and I'm crawling real fast. You know what I mean? I've come to terms that my body clock is U.S. time. I think it is. You might as just make the move. Cool, Kurt. Fanon wants Tyson Fury banned. Yeah, he does. He wants him banned. You would want to ban a fighter before, you want him back in the ring, right? And here is the one.
Yes, sir. How you doing, King?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. And I'm actually energized, man. It's like worked 17 hours a day, no problem. No problem. I'm good to go.
You are a machine, my brother. You are a machine.
Hey, I try. I'm a machine that loves what it does. So
yes, sir.
If,
yes,
sir. If that's what it is, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Sir. Yes, sir. Well, I've been looking forward to it. I did a couple other little shows today.
I heard.
Intentionally. No, I did intentionally because I wanted to be around. You know what I mean? And I want to have this energy that I got and ready to go for you, my brother.
Okay, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. I want to talk to you actually about the new news that we had concerning Mr. Devin Haney and Lenatus. What do you feel about that? First of all, how do you feel about that particular matchup with your son and Lenatus?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. But at this level, I always wanted, I look forward to Devin getting here and fighting anybody in his division, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not picking them at this point in time. What we're doing is we're trying to make the biggest and the best fights happen. We know that in Linares, he'll bring out more in Devin than any of the other opponents in Bill. We feel like that. We feel like that he has the skills and the capabilities to bring out more in Devin than the people that got a chance to see. And I think the better the fighter, the more you'll see in Devin. And I definitely think Linares is that kind of opponent.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. A lot of people don't understand how fighters get up for certain fighters. Sometimes they don't, because if the energy's not there, they won't.
Absolutely.
You'll have somewhat of a stale performance or mediocre, in better words.
Yes.
But I definitely understand. I heard that you had words with Javier Fortuna's manager.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every time, me. I mean, if anyone ever heard about me, is I stay ready to answer the bell to all the tough questions concerning Devin and Devin Haney Promotions. And he was accusing Devin of some things that I didn't feel were just. So I made a point to stop by the Boxing Voice today. Shout out to Nest,
Right.
You know what I mean, who has a great platform, who's always opened this platform up to me to come on. You know what I mean, and whether right, wrong, or indifferent, me and him, we don't always see eye to eye. But one thing that we do is we discuss boxing, and we discuss it on a professional on an intellectual level. So you know what I mean. I can appreciate that. I don't always. I know in life, everything is not going to always go our way. You know what I mean. But having the opportunity means everything to us.
That's it, man. I definitely agree. And I'm glad that you address certain things instead of hide or ignore, because when you hide or ignore, you don't know what you feel. And that leaves anything open for anybody to say anything about you. Absolutely. So I'm glad that you're outspoken. And I noticed that in Shreveport, when you were in Shreveport,
yes, sir.
You were holding your tongue. If you was supposed to did something, hey, you're calling them out then and there. You're not waiting like, oh, well, let me tell you. No, you're talking right there. You was outside. Matter of fact, you were about three. It was maybe three people, maybe two. About three people in between us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I had the backstage pass,
yes,
and we were watching Mr. Haney box Ndongeni and give him fits.
Yes.
And that was due to him because he was an undefeated fighter.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was there in Margaritaville. I was there through the whole.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And a lot of people don't understand that even that, and I'm glad that you were there. We were there, in Devin Haney Promotions. Devin was, a promoter at the fight. It's just a lot that goes into the actual event, and we like to bring in other promoters for the infrastructure. And, it's a great team in Bishop Promotions down there, local promoter in Louisiana, who we partnered up with to do that Showbox card, and, they'll agree that, my main focus is for the event to happen and to come off successful. So after things are already did, we had drinks and everything, you know what I mean, because it was a successful promotion, and we love the fact that how Louisiana had embraced us, both Shreveport and Baton Rouge. So, and we look forward to going back to Louisiana. It's a wonderful place.
You definitely had stage works on fire, man. Those those posters, they stayed up another, because I live in Shreveport. I got a house there in Shreveport.
Yes.
They stayed there, brother, maybe about 2 to 3 months. Maybe about about March of 19, they were still up there.
Wow.
So I dropped by. And then I was like, look at that, because that's the first time, that particular platform of Showtime Championship Boxing has been in Shreveport. So it was a big deal. It was definitely a big deal. And it was a good thing to be a part of something great.
Yeah. We appreciate it.
Oh, no, man. No worries. Thank you guys for being a part and having faith in a smaller city like that.
Yes.
Because, you had casinos there, you had the money there, but did you have the people? Did you have the energy? And it brought that. It did bring that. So
it did. They came out. They came out. It was a great show. Great energy up in there. Of course, Showtime had never been there. I think that was the first time. So it took a little bit of convincing with them that we could pull it off. But with the help of Amber Bishop with Bishop Promotions, we had a hell of a show. And I encourage any other promoters and fighters that to go down there and see Miss Bishop, and she'll definitely get the job done.
Definitely. So how does it feel to be the father of a champ? Tell me about it, man.
Incredible, man. It's incredible, man. It's like Christmas, waking up to Christmas every morning, right? Because it's something to do every day, with involving Devin. You know what I mean? I click on the phone, I say my prayers, click on the phone. But most of the time, I click on the phone. I'm guilty of that. I should say my prayers first and then click on the phone. But I click on the phone, you know what I mean? See what's going on, catch any emails or see what's going on YouTube and things like that. But it's platforms like yourself that has did a tremendous job furthering Devin's career, because we're not allowed or haven't had the liberty of having an ESPN, or a Fox. So we came in the game, small and working hard, and it's no different than now. But to get, the platforms like yourself, giving us an opportunity to come on, and I wouldn't care if it was 5 people there. Those are 5 important people that we want to get the message across that Devin is the baddest kid on the planet.
Yeah, see, what people don't understand, and my counterpunch on Devin Haney, he has to have the opportunity to perform. That's what it's about. A lot of people, and a lot of people criticize Devin. Oh, well, who has he fought? What has he done? What is he going to do? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. That's what, that's why I want your voice on, because it's a lot of people that have something to say about Devin that has no idea what goes behind the scenes. That's what we're here for.
Correct.
Correct. Explain to me the protocol of the mandatories of, let's say, Javier Fortuna and then Ryan Garcia, because they were both scheduled to fight Devin at one time, or mandated to fight Devin at one time, right?
Yeah. Well, what's the most confusing part for me is that now that the buck has been passed around and the focus is now on any other fight other than the Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney fight. That's the fight that the people want to see. That's the fight that Devin wants, of course. And he wants any fight after that will solidify the fight with Teofimo Lopez. If whether it's Javier Fortuna or whether it's Jorge Linares. In the sense of Jorge Linares, he's an accomplished fighter who, and all intent purposes, has beaten the guy that beating Luke Campbell, and Luke Campbell is the guy that Ryan Garcia describes as his step-up fight in competition, or his validation, right, or his credible fight, right? Everyone is saying that Luke Campbell was the fight and he beat him. Well, we want the guy that beat him. Then, if we can't get Lomachenko, right, then let's get the guy that knocked down Lomachenko. Let's get the guy that beat Luke Campbell. You know what I mean? And that's what that's all about, right? We don't want the goalpost to get pushed any further away by it being a Javier Fortuna. You know what I mean? Or although what we will do is we'll accept the WBC mandating Javier Fortuna, right? And under the pretense that Devin is being described as the world champion, right? Being described as the WBC world champion that's accepting the smoke and accepting the mandates from the WBC, which is a total different description of the franchise champion. If you're the franchise champion and you're not accepting the mandatories, then you're not the real champion, which would mean that you're not undisputed, which only means to us that we now need to establish undisputed. If he has 4 belts, one being the franchise belt, the WBA, WBO, and IBF, well, now that means that, okay, another belt was added. That doesn't mean that to not have the WBC, you are undisputed. It just means that now you're the franchise champion and you still have some more work to do.
There you go. Hey, I couldn't say it no better than you said it, counterpunch, because a lot of people don't understand that. If Ryan Garcia beat Luke Campbell, Linares beat Luke Campbell, and why couldn't Devin beat the guy that beat the guy? I love that, because that's what it is. That's some lineal type stuff that we're talking about. Yes, because sir. He's the man that beats the man. He gets in there with Linares, and a lot of people look at Linares, oh man, he's 35 years old, but he still did what he did in the sport. If you compare the accolades to Javier Fortuna, I don't take anything away from Fortuna, first of all. I don't.
Correct.
I know he's a young fighter, and a lot of people criticize the age gap, but then, hey, all right, fair enough. If that's the case, counterpunch. Devin's younger than all of them.
Correct.
He's younger than all of them. So he's going to have the age advantage anyway. Or is that an advantage at all? You know what I mean? Because you ask somebody that knows that peaks, that's really not his peak. Like, look at Canelo. They claim Canelo wasn't at his peak when he fought Mayweather. And Mayweather was 36. He was 22.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it could be not an advantage at all. It's just he wants to fight the best fighters out there. And I definitely understand what you're talking about. And a lot of people don't understand that. So make these people understand what happened today between Javier Fortuna's manager. What was he talking about? What was his beef?
Well, if I could play just this, may I play something?
Okay. Yeah.
The only 130 pounds that they have is the farmer. The farmer is trying to make a match with the 20.
Yeah, but that's a fight, that's not going to happen right away.
I do know it's not going to happen.
These guys really are not trying to make a fight with each other.
Can you hear?
There's a lot of politics involved, but
Yeah, I can hear a little bit.
Between Tevin Farmer and this man right here, Miguel Pichel, or even the winner of this.
Wait a minute, hold on. So can you hear it all? Can you hear it?
I can hear. Yeah, it's there's a lot of background noise.
And that's what we're going to do. In other words, if Pichel wants to fight the winner of this fight, and the winner of this fight, Herring or Ito, wants to fight Pichel, that's the fight we would make. Why would we go and do a fight with Farmer? But eventually, why not? In other words, we are going to do Lomachenko is going to fight Campbell in the end of August, and we were able to make that deal with Eddie Hearn, who books fights for the zone, and we had Crawler against Lomachenko before that. So there's a possibility, but
we also have Devin Haney that's also with Eddie Hearn. Devin Haney.
He's 135 pounds.
He's 135?
That's what they say.
He's fighting there, so he's the mandatory soon for the title.
Mandatory for who?
For the WBC.
Mandatory. I never heard that.
He's
No, that happens not to be true. There's a Russian guy who's above him in the rating.
David Haney is number 3, and then Teofimo Lopez is number 4.
Teofimo Lopez is fighting for the IBF.
Right, title eliminated.
Right.
So he's not going no more for the WBC.
So if there's a mandatory for Lomachenko, if he beats Campbell in the BC, that would be Abdullah. And then Haney would wait his turn.
Okay. So Abdullah, he's saying would be the mandatory. Well, we beat Abdullah.
Right.
You see what I mean? We stopped Abdullah in the 5th round. Now that's okay. So now we don't get him after we beat Abdullah. Okay. Now here's him. Here's Bob Arum recently now switching it to.
Where does Haney sit on your totem pole?
Well,
in terms of fight?
I'd like to see Devin fight a recognized lightweight, like Linares or somebody like that. And
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
So we hope that it doesn't keep continuing to get switched. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you said Abdullah. You just recognized Abdullah as a mandatory, the Russian Abdullah. He's the mandatory, right? He was the mandatory. So we beat him. So then they opted out for a franchise with Lomachenko, right? And Teofimo fought him. So now, you know what I mean? We're the WBC champions, right? And he holds the franchise, the WBA, WBO, and IBF. So it's only right that we make it a true undisputed of all the titles, of everything, right? Now, when you talk about Kambosos is not a champion. Neither is Fortuna. Neither is Linares. So we're not asking for these guys. What we're doing is we're trying to pick a lock. You know what I mean? That they keep changing, right? We think that we have the key to making this fight happen that the people want to see, right? But then they move the goalposts. So here once again, guys that are not our promoters, that are not the network, they're not anything but the other side, wanting to pick the work for us to do when they're not listening to the people. The people pay, period. And when the people stop paying, the network stop putting you on. So we must answer to what the people are saying, and they're not saying that they would rather see Teofimo fight anyone other than Devin, or Devin fight anyone other than Teofimo.
Wow. You know, that is true that he went from Abdullah to then Linares. Well, fair play. Guess what? You got Linares now. See what this is. This is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing. You know why? Because what you just did, you pulled up exactly what he said. You can't unsay something on media and then say I didn't say it.
Correct.
That gets you in a tongue twister each and every time.
Yeah.
You just did. Anybody could do that. Anybody could say, well, wait a minute. You just said Abdullah. He beat Abdullah. Then you changed. Then you said Linares. So you're moving the goalpost. So
Right.
if Uncle Bob's moving the goalpost, how many times he can do that? It ain't too many times.
Correct.
It ain't too many times
Correct.
he can do that. Because see, what's going to happen, you're eliminating all the possible excuses that a person can offer. Counterpunch. That's what
Correct.
you're doing. And then, but at the same time, you're killing two birds with one stone. Abdullah, okay, the Russian fighter, boom, you took him out. Linares, boom, you took him out. But what you're doing, you're increasing your value.
Correct.
Of Mr. Haney.
Correct.
The guy once upon a time in Shreveport said, I'm an effing contender now.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
You remember that, right?
Yeah, I remember it because I was there. I was like, okay, because he was ready. And I seen signs of Pretty Boy, and you could tell he was in the Mayweather camp.
Correct.
And that leads to another question. How does it feel to now be just the manager instead of the manager and trainer? Is it relief? Is it bittersweet? How does it feel to you now?
Well, I mean, nothing has actually changed for us other than we're accepting the fact that we can bring someone on and add some more firepower to this team that only wants to get better, right? We don't see any, we didn't see any chinks in terms of, he didn't get hit by Gamboa. He had had a broken hand, going into the fight. You know, we never made any excuses. We didn't bring it up because we noticed when Devin discussed his shoulder injury, right? We were given flack for it, right? They wouldn't let it. They wanted to put us in they want to put us in what they called it recess, right? Without us even asking for recess, right?
I remember.
Not even asking, letting us recover. So we ain't telling them shit. We ain't telling them nothing this last time. Excuse my language, brother, but we didn't tell them anything as far as the injury because we learned. And we don't, you know, say that we're not a young team, you know, that he's the young champion, right? And you know, we can make a mistake, you know. But one thing is that we learned from that one in terms of, you know, making everyone privy of Devin's condition to fight, right? So, you know, that's just how that went, right? You know, we didn't say anything. Devin he didn't use his right hand during camp. You know, we just worked on the left hand, and you know, and then he only used the right hand on fight night. We didn't do any sparring, you know what I mean? But one thing that we know is that Devin has the best jab in the business, right? And he can beat most fighters with one hand. So, you know, we went into it knowing that, you know, we were going to do as much as we can, stay on the jab, you know, hooking off the jab and doing those kind of things. And you know, when time came and we softened him up a little bit, Devin went to, you know, try the right hand, you know, but the accuracy of it wasn't there because we hadn't did a whole lot of sparring and we hadn't got a chance to use it. But to make no excuses is that Devin has the skill set from being around the various a lot of different world champions, a lot of different trainers, that he has so much in his arsenal that, you know, if one thing breaks down, I'm sure he has enough on the other side, you know, and I think we showed it.
Gotcha. And you definitely did show it because a lot of people, again, gave Devin flack for the Gamboa fight. Okay.
Right.
Before we get into that, D-Town Blaster, thank you for the super chat. He says, Kurt, respect to you and Bill for bringing us the content. I appreciate the insight on the inner workings and politics of boxing. And see, a lot of people are getting enlightened right now because a lot of people don't know these things. A lot of people just think, oh, well, they're ducking. How do you know they're ducking? Do you know the ins and outs of the business? Do you know what goes behind the scenes? Right? No, a lot of people don't know that. You know, so that's why we're educating this platform as well as the rest of the world, because you know everybody's going to see this. You know, it just don't live. It's going to be seen around. Okay, interviews.
Hopefully over and over again. You know what I mean?
Oh, it will. Definitely, it will. These are just the people here right now that's tuning in. You know, and mind you, the UK is. I have a big case, a big platform in the UK. Okay. So big following. Okay. So tomorrow, for the people that sleep in the UK, they're going to watch it too. So feel free to come back. But see what you
listen. Big shout out, great shout out to the UK, and of course, you know, our partner in Matchroom, who had enough confidence, right? Because you came to the show in Shreveport, you know what I mean? It was a Devin Haney promotion show, right?
Right.
And for Matchroom to have enough confidence in us to do a partnership, a co-promotional situation where they would provide the infrastructure, and then they would, of course, let us be great. Meaning, we didn't necessarily look for them to do a whole lot of promoting, a whole lot of groundwork, right? Other than just putting the fights with, you know, of course, giving us the budget that DAZN would give them, you know, and allow to negotiate with DAZN to get the biggest budget that we possibly can to get the fighters that we need. But, you know, definitely, I really appreciate them, and I really appreciate the UK, because the UK came out with showed when we went to London, they came out for Devin like he was a rock star.
Absolutely, it's a different energy over there, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but it lets you know that. You understand, in the UK, people watch boxing in the UK like we used to watch boxing in the 50s and the 40s. That what you used to hear from yesteryear from people used to talk about, like baseball stadiums used to be full of people, you know, and even when people couldn't even afford the tickets, they would hear it on the radio. Now, just imagine if Nielsen's had a radio, it could track each and every time an ear went to the radio. It would be off the charts. but different times for different things because we have other sports over here. Whereas in the UK, that's one of the primary sports in the UK. But you can definitely see the difference. You see what I mean?
Yes.
We have to get that back. We got to bring that back to the USA because that's how it was. That's what I remember. The Holyfield and the Lewis 1 and 2, the Mike Tyson, Holyfield, all the Roy Jones fights, the Trinidads, Julio Chavez, all that. We got to bring those back, and that's why we need the fights.
But way back, even before then, like what I used to hear about the big fights at Yankee Stadium and stuff like that used to go on.
Man. Where it was so many people, you had to put it in a baseball stadium because it was too many people that wanted to watch the fight live. So Dion W, shout out to you, brother. Appreciate the super chat. He said, "What up? What up, Bill? Just tuning in from fresh off work." Hey, I can relate.
Yes.
Salute to both of you fellas.
Thank
nice,
you,
appreciate it, brother. D-Town blasting away, blasted in the house. Bill, great job exposing Tio with facts on 2 hands. What was he talking about? I missed that.
Well, I mean, the only thing that like I can do is to do my best to get Devin in the biggest fight that can be made in the lightweight division. I don't look to fall out. I don't look to come to any disagreements with people, right? I always say that Tio is a great fighter. Ryan is a great fighter. Tank is a great fighter, right? But we just feel that it's something special about Devin that sets him apart from just being great, more like, once in a lifetime type fighter, one or two lifetime type fighters, you know what I mean? Because of his approach, his work ethic. You won't see him with a drink. You won't see him with a joint. You'll always see him in the gym. You know what I mean? And he's the most humble cat outside the ring, but the most vicious cat inside the ring, which makes something special to me. That's just a special quality.
That special quality. And the more you explain, Devin, I'm thinking of Pretty Boy. Staying in the gym, you don't see him drinking, no smoking, on anything like that. Women, I mean, he's a man, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. But Devin, you hear pure progress and pure positivity.
Yes.
And that leads me to the next question. Why was it? Because it seemed that Devin Haney last year, he was in the Mayweather's gym and Floyd Money was training him, showing him a lot of things.
Yes.
Many days. How many days did Floyd spend with Devin Haney?
I don't know exactly how many he spent, but I mean they were like unforgettable days for both Devin, as a fighter, and then me as a father. For all-time great like Floyd to take out time, and he's a very, very busy guy, right? To take out time and to drop gems and jewels on Devin, you know what I mean? I just sat at home. If you ever see them, you'll never see me ever there. I was never physically there because I wanted the energy to be on 10 with them. I didn't want any hesitation on Floyd's part or any hesitation on Devin's part, you know what I mean? And I took a back seat to it. And just like any other time that trainers that came on that, you know what I mean, was more knowledgeable than me, with more experience and had Devin's confidence. Once Devin is confident in what they're saying and he has that confidence about going out and doing it, then I'll forever take a back seat to that.
I mean, why not? They know what they're doing, so your son's in good hands,
right?
Like all they,
But see, the misconception is that when me and Devin are together, what I'm doing is I'm going over everything that Devin has learned since he's been a kid with all these greats, right? Because one thing that you won't get with Floyd, you won't get Floyd to talk about what he learned with Roy. You won't get Roy to talk about what he's learned with Floyd Sr. You won't get Floyd Sr. to talk about what he's learned with Mike McCallum, right? I'm probably I am the only one that has been there while Devin has learned and got all the homework, because when he was young, I was the one that was paying for it. It was never a time where any of the coaches just came in and just said, okay, let me just drop this on you for free and we're going to work for free, right? They would come in and they would say, because they're all world champion coaches and future Hall of Famers. So I had to come in and I had to give them an incentive to work with Devin, of course, right? And then as time went on, everyone knew that we were coming in just like we were coming in to have where you would send your kid to a football camp during the summer, but he comes back to his high school coach, right? So
Right.
I would send Devin. Then he would go with the USA team, and he would be coached by the USA team coach, right? But then we would come back and we would do tournaments and stuff that weren't the USA tournaments. They were shows and club shows and stuff, and then I would coach, right? So it's easy for me to say to him, you know what I mean? Come back with the hook like Eddie Mustafa, you know what I mean? Take a look like Roy Jones, take a look over there like Roy, you know what I mean? Okay, close up and use the shoulder like Floyd Sr., you know what I mean? Roll up under the hook like Roger, you know what I'm saying? But we have just different codes for different stuff that we say, right? But it's always something that we learned from one of the greats. Like it's nothing, because it's nothing that I make up. You know what I mean? That I'm like, oh, I was just feeling this one day, and now let's work on this, Dev. You know what I mean? We started out working, you know what I mean, with the jab with Billy Giles. He former coach of Hector Camacho, right? And
Gotcha. Yeah.
And Billy just said, he said the right hand will take you around the block, but the jab will take you around the world, right?
I've heard that recently.
Right,
yeah, definitely.
Right. So you know what I mean? So
yeah,
if you know what I mean, if I'm telling them Billy, I say, come on, Billy, they might think I'm talking about me, but it's actually Billy Giles.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I love how you breaking down these codes and we getting this all firsthand, because a lot of people don't know these things. When certain people say certain things, it's an inside game. It's inside knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, hey, go into the hook like Roger. God bless the dead. Those type of things is, I can tell there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of commitment, and I commend you. You are there, and you're only going to grow. You guys are going to grow as a unit. Was there any type of, how do I say, when you took a back seat, when he decided to use, what is it, his idea to go with another trainer, or was it, or you guys?
No, it was my idea. It was my idea. You know what I mean? In terms of that, the business and stuff. And I said, that would allow me to do more work for him and on the promotional side, right? Do more work for him on the business side, because he has a few businesses as well, right? But ultimately, you know what I mean, my love for him and his love for me and our understanding of the game hasn't separated us, in the gym, or outside the gym. You know what I mean? But if we were to bring on somebody right now, and he was to say, well, Dad, you're in the gym with me, and you know what I mean, how about we bring on somebody to handle the business side of it? You know what I mean? So, or he say, Dad, you're doing the business, how about we bring in somebody to help with the coaching? You know what I mean? It wouldn't be a slight at any, and for me to open up for people to then solicit for the job, or for Devin to, also look or whatever, you know what I mean? That's the only thing that I was doing. I just didn't think that it would have gotten that much energy to whereas it's almost like, okay, when are you guys going to make the decision, and not just that we are looking, because one thing about the misconception was that me being just a father, that I'm just all over everything. So once the coaches heard that, you know what I mean, that I'm willing to step to the side and let someone come in, then I'm sure his DM should be flooded with different guys that are asking for the job, soliciting for the job. You know what I mean? Because you can't get people to offer to coach if you don't announce that the position is open.
And that's very true. And a lot of people, like you say, you're a father and then a trainer, you want full control. And a lot of people think, well, you know what? I don't know if I want to put myself in that situation.
Yes.
and present myself to help because he might not want it. But I'm glad you're open and letting people know, hey, it is available for those who qualified to take care of my son, and in that aspect. So that's cool. I commend you on that, because a lot of people won't do that in it because egos, pride,
Yes.
those
Yes.
type of things, will pride come before the fall. So a lot of people won't allow that to happen just because they're accustomed to it, not knowing that, hey, well, maybe it would be better for you to work on the business aspect because you obviously are very intelligent, so you know what you're doing on both aspects. But like, hey, it's good, the plan A versus the plan B. If you focus on plan A, you don't have to worry about plan B as well.
Plan B. Right.
You know what I mean? So, I get what you're saying on that. So do you have anybody in mind that you're going to bring into the camp as far as training for Devin Haney?
No, I personally, like I said, I don't want to make that decision. I want to reserve, the right for Devin to take his time and make the decision whenever he decides to, at his leisure. You know what I mean? And us as a team, we're going to roll with it. We're going to roll with him till the wheels fall off. Period.
There you go. Hey, you know what? I'm not mad at you at all. Shout out to Count Drago. Would Devin be open to fighting Comey or Fortuna?
Well, like I said, we're in the position where the WBC, he's the WBC champion. He's in a position to have the mandatory challengers be mandated and to him. And what I want that to show is that it's different than the franchise belt. I want the world to know that we're not picking, we're not cherry picking, right? Because that's very important when it comes down to for the world to decide whether or not Teofimo Lopez is a true undisputed champion or he's just a undisputed champion. And what we need to do is now establish,
Right.
Establish, what it is. And anytime that you have dispute, and I don't say that it's not half of the fans say that he is undisputed, and then half of the fans say he's undisputed, which means that we have a dispute, and the dispute can easily be decided at this point in time by Teofimo deciding that Devin is qualified. What he's been saying is that Devin is not qualified. He needs to fight somebody else. We don't have any problem with fighting anybody else. We're going to fight somebody else if he doesn't want to fight. But to say that, right, is blasphemy.
Yeah, that's been or attempted to be the narrative, because a lot
because
of
you just saw Bob Arum say that Abdulaev, the Russian is ahead of him, and the Russian would be the mandatory. Okay, well, we beat the Russian, but then you still say we didn't fight anybody. Then we beat beat Gamboa, who's went the longest with in Tank Davis's career, gave him 2 black eyes, right, and gave him fits, and he didn't even touch Devin, and he did all of that with Gamboa on the torn Achilles. Right?
Right.
He was recovered, right? He recovered. It was 10 months later before he fought Devin, right? And he was healed and wasn't able to do anything, right? I mean, Devin pitched a complete shutout, right? We didn't get the just due for that. We didn't get the just due for Abdulaev, right? The undefeated fighter in Endon Jenny, right? Another undefeated fighter in Alfredo Santiago. And you ask me, how many times has Teofimo Lopez been in there with undefeated fighters, right? Now he can say that Lomachenko was an all-time great, but he wasn't undefeated. So he had lost before. You see what I'm saying? Right?
Right.
And he had lost to he lost to Orlando Salido, and Gamboa beat Orlando Salido.
He did that. A lot of people beat Orlando.
You see what I'm saying? So the goalpost continues to get moved and pushed in a way that I say that I have no confidence in the Lopezes, but I have all the confidence in the people, that the people who pay to see these fights will demand it, you know what I mean? And will create such a demand that it will have to happen, versus Teofimo being able to do, and Bob Arum just being able to say they're going to just do whatever they want to do, and people are going to support it.
Well, let me counterpunch. Okay. First of all, Bob Arum, if he had his way, he would have a rematch between Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko. Because right after he decisioned Lomachenko, that's what Bob was saying. Well, we're gonna have to sit down with Teo and see if he wants to avenge the fight with Lomachenko. He was doing that. That's the fight that he personally wanted. But you can see the energy change, and he doesn't treat his fighters all the same, as you can tell. Look what he did to Terrence Crawford. You know, that's all. I don't even really want to get into that right now. But with Teo, the arguments are always going to be there. First of all, how do you feel about that fight?
Which fight, Teo?
Teo and Loma.
Teo and Loma, I think that Teo won the first half of the fight. Loma won the second half of the fight, opposite maybe the 12th round, which I'll give to Teo. But I think that Loma, he won in certain spots of the fight, right? And that kind of like in that middle part of the fight, which deserves the fact that if Teo really felt that he could beat him, right, and he felt that he beat him and he saw something in him, right, he would definitely rematch him for the money, right? Because if that was the biggest fight of his career, and then you come back and you fight Gambosos for less, right? Then why wouldn't you fight Lomachenko for more? If you felt that you can beat him, if you felt he was everything that you said that he was, right? So
Right.
I feel that Loma still is a fight with Devin that we would like that fight, right? People want to put us with the Comey who was beat by Teo, or put us by the Javier Fortunas who was beat by Jason Sosa and all that. We don't mind fighting a guy that hasn't lost. We don't mind fighting Teofimo, but does Teofimo mind fighting us? Because when you talk about I'm on the podcast. And I always, like I said, I give these fighters props, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I give these fighters props. And the only thing that I say is that these are the things that when coming up as a low tight with Dev, right? He wanted to get to the position to fight on the biggest stage against the fighters that the people want to see, the fighters that the people are clamoring for, And, everyone is now, not everyone, you know what I mean? It's just a general, small percentage or half of the people, I don't know which way to describe them, right? Or picking everybody but the fight that, you know what I mean, the best fight. Why would you want a fight that you can make a sizzling fight between Teo and Devin? You want him to go fight somebody else and lose to somebody else to lose? Who are you going to fight next? Which, that's what I'm saying, is bullshit. We don't want Ryan Garcia to go lose to somebody. We want to beat Ryan Garcia. We don't want Teofimo to go lose to nobody. We want to beat Teofimo, right? So this picking somebody for somebody is just not us. That's just not our style.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. And then we can backtrack about the comparison, because that's what it's about. Comparison of common opponents. Devin Haney, Gamboa. Tank Davis, Gamboa. You were right. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, he was injured in that fight. You could tell something was wrong with his foot. It was his Achilles tendon or his ankle or whatever it was. He was injured. That means he was compromised, and he went 12 rounds with that guy. They gave Devin Haney a lot of flack for not doing that. Now, I feel that they did that because of the promises that he made about stopping Gamboa. Mm-hmm. Gamboa is no walk in the park by far. He has experience to survive. That's pretty much what he does. Everyone has to have some type of stripes or.
But counterpunch, the thing about that is as a fighter, That's what he prepared for. That's what he went in there and do. And it was Gamboa's job to stop him from doing that. You see what I'm saying? So you don't fault the fighter. You kind of give credit to Gamboa to still being tough and hanging in there because he hit him with some shots. People say, okay, well, another fighter would have hit him with the shot and he would have went down. That's fine. That's fine. That's styles make fights, right? So you move on, right? You move on.
Right.
It's not like Devin was exposed to the point that he's not an elite fighter. If you expose his power, but then you saw his defense, right? So it's something that you saw good, and it's something that you saw bad. So that's just the nature of the business in boxing. If we say with Teofimo, right, we saw him dominate Loma, but then we didn't see that he doesn't have a good inside game, right? So do we fault him for not having an inside game? Do we fault him for not stopping Loma? Right? No, of course not. What we do is we move on and we say, okay, we weren't able to have the Luke Campbell fight because Top Rank came in and petitioned for that fight, right? Even though we beat Abdulaev to fight Luke Campbell for the belt, right? Luke Campbell fought him. Then he petitioned to fight Teofimo Lopez in what he considered a mega fight, right? So we didn't get that fight. Then, okay, so now we have the WBC belt, and he has the belts that make him recognized to some as the undisputed champion. So does that mean that your career is over with? Does that mean that you should not then fight Devin Haney? That Devin Haney is not a bigger draw than Kambosos? What I say then is Kambosos a champion? Absolutely not. Is Devin a champion? Absolutely yes. So what do you opt in to fight, the champion or not, right? Because a true a unification of the belts will always trump fighting your mandatory, right? But it's only when it's convenient for the fighter. Now, it's convenient that he says that he wants to fight Kambosos, even though Bob Arum described it as colluded, that he was colluding by negotiating with Kambosos and not making Top Rank privy of it, right? But you would not negotiate with Devin, right? You never negotiated with Devin, right? Never did you do that, but you did it with Kambosos, right? So I mean, he's being punished on all type of levels and all type of fronts for his behavior, right? I'm glad that I'm with Devin, and I'm with Devin in the sense of that he's not making all those excuses, right? You don't see him going around and saying this person is not qualified or anything like that. I think that he had mentioned before that, you know, he was upset that Lomachenko would not recognize him when he was willing to fight him and stuff like that. But, you know, that's a feeling that comes to pass, because I know that he sent me on a mission to make the biggest fight happen. And Lomachenko is one of those kind of fights.
That is true. Loma is a huge fight, and that fight should happen. And I'm glad you're just setting the record straight, because a lot of people, oh, Devin ducked this, Devin, you know, that casual mindset without knowing things will kill you. You know, ignorance is not always bliss. It's not. Right. It's just ignorant. It's just something you don't know. Shout out to JD Spades. He says, Bill, how do you feel about the WBC's Mauricio Suleiman calling Teofimo Lopez the undisputed lightweight champion, while Devin Haney currently has the WBC belt?
Well, listen, I think that it's an opportunity for us to show our greatness in terms of promoting and making this fight happen. That's fine. They promoted it like that. They sold it to ESPN like that, but it didn't come across with the people as good as they would have as good as they anticipated it to do. They, you know, in those days of just one promoter and one network controlling the narrative is a thing of the past. With platforms like yours, you know what I mean? Dante's Boxing Nation, Aki, 7-8 Sports, Trill Boxing, right? And also Pep Talk, you know, Spencer and Tunde. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. These platforms give us an opportunity to tell our side of the story, right? You know, and when I'm talking to you and you was under the mindset that you weren't here to referee, you were only here to give me an opportunity to show the people my perspective on it, right?
Absolutely.
Or you know what I mean? That meant everything. You know, Teofimo Sr. came in and you know what I mean? He gave his perspective on it. Now I get a chance to give mine, and then ultimately having the opportunity for the people to hear us and then demand to see us means everything. If the people are not demanding to see us, then our job is not done, right? But
Right.
you know, we've worked to get in a position, and we hear it. We hear the people calling for it. We hear the people asking for it. So we're ready to answer the bell.
Man, I heard that. That is exactly what you should set out to do. Shout out to Lady Sean. Done dim season. We just need to see the fights happen. It's tedious. It is tedious. I mean, we're hearing it's tedious.
Well, the thing about it is Devin is 22. Listen, when you talk about the fight with Earl Spence and Crawford, or you talk about Manny Pacquiao and I mean not Manny Pacquiao and Floyd, right? You talk about those fights. You talk about Mike Tyson and Holyfield. You talk about those fights. We are patient. We are patient, and we're patient to the point that, you know, patience and frustration for us don't run on the same street. Devin is the youngest world champion in boxing, and he also is the youngest promoter in boxing. He gets paid a ton of money, and if we did not want to have this fight happen, we have millions of reasons, or, you know, millions of dollars worth of reasons to go do something else, right? Other than take this shit serious like we do, and we listen to what the people are saying, and it's not on us, it's on them.
Hey, I heard that, and that's true. You know, a lot of these fights, a lot of these fans don't understand. The money's going to come. The money's going to come, and it's up to the fighter to want to fight the best. We see fighters that fight fighters just to get money. We see that. We don't have to call any names. That's not what it's about. That's not the point. The point is it happens. So I have to commend you and Devin for wanting the best fights, because that's what it's about. And I'll say this. Let me add this to it. Teofimo Lopez, great fighter. You know, his dad is a great promoter. He promotes him the way he does in his own colorful way. But one thing they do they market the idea of his youth. He's 23. Devin's 22. So it's only fair for you to do the same thing, because he's 22 and he's a champion too. And there is a great divide, and there is an argument. And the only way, and I agree with you 100%, to settle this argument, get in the ring. It's not too many things you can argue about. I think people make arguments about people that they like, but not necessarily have confidence in. You see what I'm saying? Because like we mentioned, the Loma Teofimo 2 fight, possible fight. I 100%, because I just forgot. I'm just recalling what you said. If he had that amount of ability, he could fight him again. And then if Loma didn't take off those rounds, that means that gives him the opportunity with his advanced counterpunching skills to knock out the guy like his father claimed that he would do. He came on this platform and said he's going to knock him out 4 or 5 rounds. He said that. Okay. So I think that's a perfect opportunity for Teo to get back in there and do exactly what they set out to do. Not have a weird scorecard. Now that's another thing. And then running off saying, hey, okay, aha, I won. That's not how it's done. Let me ask you, I want your intake on this. How did you feel about them scorecards?
Only thing that I know is that Teofimo did win the fight. You know what I'm saying? So once I don't actually pay attention to the scorecard unless it's close. So he won the fight, right? I mean, because Loma took off the first half, the first 6 rounds. I don't know, how do you expect to, if you don't stop him, then how do you expect to win the fight, right? At best, it could have been a draw, right? If you give him the first 6 rounds, but then Teofimo won the 12th round. So I know the first 6 and the 12th, which is enough right there.
7-5, yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So that I don't, you know what I mean? But when you talk about fighters, right, and fighters saying that they're going to, you prepare to knock the guy out. That's what you go into it with the mindset. You see Ryan Garcia saying he's going to knock out Gervonta Davis in 2 rounds, right? You see Teofimo Lopez and the Lopez is saying they were going to knock out Lomachenko. Devin said he was going to knock out Gamboa. I mean, I think that you have to have that mindset. What do you go in there and say, I'm not going to knock him out? What do you say? I'm not going to knock him out. Okay, I'm not going to knock him out. I'm just going to beat him, right? You go in there to trying to knock him out, and the fighter goes in there to trying to not get knocked out. So I don't fault the fighters for saying that, for saying those things that they're saying. You know what I mean? The game plan, when you go in there, the game plan is executing the game plan, you know, and that's what that is.
No, I'm with you 100%. You know, just like shout out to HLD. That's promotional talk, but it's confidence talk. It's the things that you feel that you can do. You know, so anybody duck Ryan Garcia is a duck and not fighting. Okay. Now, Mr. Ryan Garcia, he was another mandatory, right?
Give me a water, please, Sean.
So what's the deal? That's a closer fight to be made, I would assume, because they're both fighting on the zone, right? Golden Boy and Matchroom.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the zone was thinking. That's what Matchroom was thinking. That's what we were thinking when we went to Dallas to go. Take the dog back out, Sean. Make sure he's out. That's what we were thinking, is that it would have been an easy fight to make, right? But Ryan says that Devin is the toughest task that he'll have. You know what I mean? Going into that, we have to respect it. Most of the fans, you know, it's like I always say, it's like a percentage of fans that don't have respect for Devin, and it's a percentage of fans that have respect for Devin. But the one thing that's very consistent is the fighters. The fighters respect Devin enough that they're not quick to call his name. They're not quick to say what they're going to do to him. You know what I mean? And that's a great thing as a dad and a trainer, is that the fighters respect him.
That's absolutely true. I mean, because you think that was the holdup from not wanting to fight Devin, because they knew the danger of fighting Devin, and they knew the skill set that involved with fighting a guy like Devin, the WBC lightweight champion of the world, that is. So, okay, what will it take for these guys? You think it's just a process of elimination, or you going, because you mentioned Bob, and we heard what Bob said. Bob said, do this, then he said, do that. So what do you think will get these guys in the ring? Tank Davis, what do you think will get Tank Davis in the ring? Him being from a totally different platform.
Well, Tank, I believe Tank just talked about fighting Valdez, right? He was talking about Valdez. He would sleep Valdez. He talked about Leo Santa Cruz. He talked about Abner Mares. So his business is at 130, even though he has a junior belt at 135, right? He has the
WBA regular, yeah.
WBA regular, and then he has the WBA super at 130. So the thing about that is that what I don't want to do is confuse the people with the fact of the biggest fight to happen for Devin and for Teo is both of them, right? So who they have next should only be next because they're fighting each other next. Like, you know, he can only make that excuse one time. He's defending against Kambosos because that's his mandatory. But then you say, after that, I'm going up to fight Josh Taylor and the Ramirez winner. When Jack Cantrell is the mandatory for that and both Ramirez and Josh. No, not Josh Taylor. What is it? No, it's not, because Josh Taylor just lost. It's Ramirez and what's the other guy name? Ramirez.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh.
He fought. I know who you're talking about.
Right.
Now,
the winner of that fight. The winner of that fight. And both of them said that they're going up. They're not even talking about fighting him, but he's talking about fighting them, right? He's talking about fighting them instead of saying after, right? And
yeah,
the thing about it is,
it is Josh Taylor.
Yeah, Josh Taylor. Yeah. Okay, so Ramirez and Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor said to him, you need to clean up your division. You need to clean up the division, right? You need to fight the people that's in your division, right? So when you talk about that, is that they're not even talking about fighting him, right? You don't have Tank Davis is not talking about fighting him. Ryan Garcia is not talking about fighting him. So what is he talking about? You see what I'm saying? And the reason why that he got some hardware that we want, the money part of it, you know what I'm saying? We getting plenty of cash. We came into our partnership as promoters, right? So the money is there. We know the money is there, right? But he has some hardware that we'd like to relieve him of. You see what I'm saying? So just no different than Lomachenko. You know what I mean? Drop the motherfuckers on the ground. You dig what I'm saying? If you ain't gonna rock them, if you're not wearing them as champions, then drop them. You know what I'm saying? Or get stripped. You see what I'm saying? But before we leave 135, Devin wants to be the undisputed champion.
Hey, that's true. I mean, if he's talking about going and leaving 35, because he was talking, to be fair, he mentioned doing that before he fought Lomachenko, if he didn't get the Lomachenko fight. I get that. But if he's not going to defend it, he can't be balancing back and forth. He needs to defend it or let him go. Let somebody fight for it.
Absolutely. Make the fight that the people want to see. So
is the whole idea for Devin, the mapped out, it's not necessarily Teofimo, it's for the belts, it's for the hardware, it's for the strike.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Shout out to James Kelly. How you doing, counterpunching Mr. Haney?
Yes, sir.
Doing great over here.
Yes, sir.
Doing great over here.
I'm surprised this dude is even up, because I told you you're a machine, brother. You don't even look tired. You don't even look tired even a little bit. You look fresh, like you just woke up or something.
Well, it's one of them things. You it's like you may feel it at work, but when you leave work, you're like, all right, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's a passion thing. It's a passion thing. I think at the end of the day, and this is my counterpunch on that. Where do you see Devin Haney in 5 years?
I see him as a multi-weight champion. With providing opportunities for other guys to come in the game and also become world champions and start their own promotional companies too, and put their guys on just like he's doing.
Do you see Devin being possibly a welterweight?
Yes.
What do you think his weight's at?
I think he has everything. He's the same size as Money May, right? And I see him doing all the same things that he did. You know what I mean? And the same weight classes. I think he'll go up to 40, 47, 54. And maybe 60 for the right fight. When he's going out the game.
Okay, so shout out to James Kelly again. Can I call in? Well, I'm assuming he wants to ask you a question. I'm not sure. That's up to you. That's primarily up to you. I mean, if you want,
I don't have any problem, man. The people pay the bills, man.
Okay. All right, James Kelly, you can come in. You can join the StreamYard and talk to Mr. Bill Haney. So do you think this is my thing before I forget? I think the fighters at 135, you have to understand history repeats itself. You have these guys, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo, and Teofimo looks like he's getting bigger because I think he's big. He's built kind of like Arturo Gatti. So I see him going to 140. But I think if these guys don't fight eventually, I think they will meet at some point at some weight class. And it may be 140 or 147. It might be 147 because that's the biggest of the little people. So a lot of these fights won't happen at 135 like we expect. I think they will happen or 135. They'll happen at 147. What do you think about that? You see that? Boom. There's no difference between those two at all. I'm looking at one. Matter of fact, Devin looks a little bigger. He looks a little bigger, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And look at the guy that he's beside. That same guy was at 126 to 130, 135 to 140, 140 to 147 to 154. So it's a progression. And we didn't see Sugar Shane Mosley take on Floyd Mayweather when he was at 130 and Mosley was at 135. We didn't see that because everybody was chasing the golden goose, and his name was Oscar De La Hoya at the time. But we eventually seen it. We seen it in 2010, but it took years for it to happen. Yes. So I think a lot of people need to understand how it works, and what we expect to see, we probably won't see. We didn't see the Manny Pacquiao Mayweather saga until 2015. You know,
but what you did see in Floyd was similar to what Devin was. He was calling them all out. You know what I mean? He didn't get the fights that he wanted when he wanted to get them, right? Yeah. But you see, when he was Pretty Boy, the same similar to Devin right now, he was available. He was available. And the one thing that the people are playing with, they're acting like that Devin needs to do something else and that he's not. Okay, well, whatever. But is he available? Yeah. Is he available? Is he trying to make the fight? Right? That's what the legacy, what Devin wants to represent.
That's big, and I believe everything. And look, that's a great parallel with Floyd. Pretty Boy wasn't a known name in 2001. Yeah, he beat Diego Corrales, but he wasn't a Trinidad. He wasn't a De La Hoya. He wasn't a Roy Jones. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't those guys. He was overshadowed by so many talents. I mean, even matter of fact, Fernando Vargas. People talked about Fernando Vargas, him being at 154 at the time, and they were in the Olympics together. Right. You know what I mean? So, those things happen. But now look at Floyd. Look what he's become since then by staying in there and staying dominating. But it was the times where he did want these fights. Now we do have Mr. James C. He wants to come on, and here he is.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, sir? Nice seeing you. Look, King? I was just listening to some George Howard. I don't know if y'all know about that. I know you probably do. George
look, Howard, I'm not sure of George Howard, King. What kind of music is he?
No, he's jazz. He passed away, but he's jazz.
I'm sorry, I'm not. I should be. I'm at that age where now I should be making that progression to jazz.
No, you all right, bro. You all right. Okay. I bet you I'm older than you are.
Okay. We look about the same
I'll be 55 age, in March.
Yeah, we look. I told you we look the same age. I'm 50.
Oh man, now let's look at my man, Kurt. What are you, 40?
Kurt, 43, yeah. 43, 40 or 40?
Yeah, 41.
41.
Okay. Young guy, look, I like to say thank you, and my wife is behind me. Okay, she's shocked because she hear her husband on the, Can y'all hear me still?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, check it out. Mr. Haney, I heard you on chat with the oh my gosh. Oh Lord. The last excuse me, man. Please forgive me. And I was talking about it was I know his name. Daggone it, my mind is gone.
Take your time, brother. Take
punch,
your time. Okay.
Punch, punch.
Yes, sir.
Punch. Remember,
yes,
punch. And y'all was talking about your son, and y'all was talking about the money. I understand that. Any boxer that get in the ring, I'm telling you, they deserve all the money they can get, man, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care if you got a camp, no camp, you could lose your life in that ring. Yes, what concerned me was that it was too much talk about the money.
Yes, sir.
And not the challenge to fight. Look, let me tell you something. I was born 1966. And the first boxer that I had ever known was Muhammad Ali. And I'm going to share you a story being from Patterson, New Jersey. Y'all going to trip. Because y'all both still in my generation. If you remember that commercial with Ali and Joe Frazier, one of them was in the phone booth or something. And I'll never forget, Joe Frazier said, "I'm gonna whoop you. I'm gonna take my bet off and whoop you," because he was a champion, right? And I asked my father, I said, "Daddy, is he gonna whoop him like you whoop me?" No, it's real. I mean, look, it's real. My point is, money has taken over to the point where these guys not even looking at the sport per se. I'm not saying your son. I'm just talking in general. Back in the day, they fought. They fought. It wasn't all about the money. Cause see, just like now, just like if you go apply for a job, right? You went to college, you apply for a job. You don't go do that job just for the money. You do the job, do the best you can, and the money will come. A lot of these guys want to make big bucks because of, well, I'm gonna say Money Mayweather, but I don't blame Money Mayweather. Mayweather planned his career big time. These guys aren't planning their career. They're ready to make big money and all that other stuff. But look, if it wasn't for the consumer or the customer like me, like Kurt, like everybody paying this what $70 pay per view. Kurt, you remember pay per view was what $20? What is it now? 70, 80? And because we're boxing fans, man, we're addicted. They need to. And this is just me talking. I think Devin Haney is great. And I kind of got upset when they said because he didn't knock out Gamboa. Was it Gamboa?
Yes.
Was his last fight? Was Gamboa, right?
Yes. Yes, it was. Yes, sir.
And look, he didn't have to knock him out. Look how he boxed him. Just look how he boxed him, man. That technique and skill.
Appreciate it.
A lot of these boxers don't have that.
Mhm.
You know, but as long as Haney stay humble, please,
Yes, sir.
please, and not just Haney, Shakur, all these young cats, and focus on your on what you need to do. Train, no drinking, rest, no partying, rest, work out. You could become what you want to become. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely.
Does it make sense?
Absolutely.
Because
sir.
I'm a boxing fan. I'm not no casual boxing fan. Take that to the BANK. And I'm gonna go this route. You know, Deontay Wilder fired Breland, right? You know about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you do,
Yes.
Kurt and Mr. Haney. What he couldn't see was here's Mark Breland, gold medalist. He was in that 84 class, big time. But then he got caught by Aaron Davis, and I think he lost a couple of more times. So here's a man training a guy, and he's seeing a guy getting beat down just like he got, because he felt it. He saved his life. And I don't understand why Deontay Wilder why did they fire Breland? Breland is one of the best fighters. And I'm going to tell you right now, Deontay could be a good fighter if he would listen. That's just me. People need to, these boxers need to understand they're in a fighting game. They can die any day. But you got to work out, learn the techniques, learn everything. Because honestly, and look, you can talk about Floyd Mayweather all day long. I respect Floyd Mayweather Jr. When you hear about him going out to clubs, right? First thing people want to say in his mind, this guy drinking. No, he ain't drinking. He ain't do none of that. Come out the club and what'd he do? He said, look, y'all, put on your sneakers. I'm running 10 miles. Yes or no?
Legendary. That's legendary. Yep. Absolutely.
That's commitment. That's commitment. He had a plan from the time, when I listened to the story, he had a plan from the time he started, man. And Now he said he was the best that ever done it. Yeah, not just from the boxing side of it, but from the business side of it. And I commend him. Now, all these other cats, they out there, they thinking more too much about the money. Then get the butt in the ring, box, bring it, and the money will come. Mayweather got to the point where people love to see him win or love to see him hate. Just like Ali was. Am I crazy? Tell me, am I crazy?
You
No,
cooking,
not at
brother.
all.
You cooking. You cooking.
And it's real. So I like to thank Kirk. I like to thank you, Mr. Haney, for allowing me to
Absolutely.
speak to you. And
Absolutely.
it's,
But you know what, brother? You know
yes,
what?
sir.
It's two things that you probably haven't heard out of any matchroom DAZN fighters, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
money is both of them. You've never heard Devin complain about the money. You've never heard him ask about the money, right? Because
Right.
you know what I mean? You've never heard us mention the money. You
At
never heard
all.
us say A side, B side. You've never heard us say any of that
Never
kind of
heard it.
stuff. You know
Never
what I
heard
mean?
it.
So, you know, the only thing that we do is we're asking that the Lopez's, you know, the Lomachenkos of the world, you know what I mean, make these events happen, because these are the events that the people want to see. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so that's all that it ever comes about down to. You know, it
And
takes
when
two.
and I agree, man, because they made a big deal because he didn't knock out Gamboa, but the man boxed him. I
Styles
mean,
make fights.
beautifully,
Yes.
beautifully. I mean, pat, jabbing. He outboxed him. Really knocked him out or not.
Right.
See, but nobody want to see that.
But you know what? The fighter before that, Santiago, he knocked him down. Abdullev, he stopped
Yeah,
him. Who before that? Moran, he knocked him out. Endon Jenny, he knocked him down. You know what I'm saying? So it's styles make fights. You know what
it
I'm saying?
does.
The
It
power,
does.
is there. It keeps him honest. You know what I'm saying?
It
Devin
does.
has a different style of fighting. You know what I mean? And I think that some of those guys, based on their record being built up, based on the fighters that's put in front of them, they have developed this thing that they're now knockout artists. And I think
Uh,
it's going to come back to bite them in the ass, because the rounds that Devin puts in and the rounds that he's put in has made him a comfortable fighter under the lights, right?
yeah.
So one thing that I heard Mike Tyson say is he used to be so scared he just wanted it to be over with, right? You know, and most fighters that are knockout artists is that when they're pushed to the test, when they're pushed to rounds, they're not comfortable, right? If they
Mm.
can't get the fighter out of there and get them out of there quick, then they start to get uncomfortable. They start to feel like they're being embarrassed and stuff like that. So you know what I
Mm.
mean? We're happy with where Devin is. Of course, we know that the better the fighter that he's in the ring with is going to bring out more in him, more out of him. You know, so the
Yes.
world can see he has a lot more in the tank. And you know what I mean? We just look forward to putting on a show in front of the people, and that's all that you can actually want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Floyd finished undefeated, right? But
Yes, sir.
okay, he's one fighter mentioned amongst the greats, and for Devin to say that he wants his name to be mentioned among the greats, most of those fighters suffered adversity and came back from it, and that's what made them great. So you know what I mean? We just love this sport, right? It's the kind of thing where coming from Oakland, California, East Oakland, and in the
Okay.
sense of that, you know, anything can happen with a young black kid nowadays.
Right.
You know, just being
Right.
out there, right?
Yeah.
And you know
Yeah.
what I mean. And bad
Yes,
things can
sir.
happen, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
we feel like that when you put on a pair of boxing gloves and you match him up against a guy that's his same size, that's all the fairness in the world. You know what I'm saying?
I
Because
understand.
once you walk out that door, ain't nothing fair. You know what I
You're
mean?
right. You're right. I'm from Patterson, New Jersey, man, and be advised, 10 minutes cross from New York City, and I'm gonna tell you something.
Are you familiar with my family, the Robinsons?
In Patterson,
Sugar Hill Records, yeah.
In Patterson, New
Yeah,
Jersey?
Sugar Hill Records. They're out of Patterson, out of New
I
Jersey.
probably know a lot of Robinsons, man.
Yeah,
Because right now, I live in North Carolina.
Okay, yeah, that's the Sugar Hill Records founder and owners. They are from Patterson.
Oh yeah, yes, I do know that. I do know that. But I've been down here because the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps, one enlistment, and I was blessed to work for the federal government, naval aviation. And be advised, I know this sounds nuts. I'm about to retire next year, bro.
Oh,
Oh
congratulations,
yeah,
brother.
yeah. But I'm staying here in North Carolina. This is where my wife is from, and but
Good.
I'll still go up to New York and Jersey and all them spots. And matter of fact, when I was growing up, I used to go visit Lou Duva's gym
Okay,
in
okay,
Totowa. And
okay.
then it was we had a gym downtown called Volcano Gym. I mean,
Good.
look, Duva had a lot of Pattistonians, man.
Yes.
He had a lot of Pattistonians, man. And I'm gonna tell you, boxing's been a part of my life all my life.
Good. Well,
And
make sure you come. Make sure you come to Las Vegas, then, man, and come
I'll
and
be
come
in
watch
Vegas.
come watch
Look,
Devin train, man.
look, I'm gonna come to Vegas, and as old as I am, I'm gonna train. But I'm gonna train with them.
Okay, okay. I'll take you up on that. I'll take you up
Hold up
on
now. Wait a minute. Make sure you had the EMTs around that bad boy, man.
that.
Cause I might not make it out of that deal. But I was in the Corps, cuz in the Marine Corps every day, running all that. But the key is, man, all jokes aside, you know how people talk about bums, bums coming in the ring.
Mhm.
Let me tell you something. This is what I feel. Any boxer, he probably can't afford a camp like everybody else,
Correct.
but he's out there training.
Correct.
But once he get in that ring, he putting his life on the line, man. I don't see no bums in boxing because that bum could knock me out.
Right.
That's being real with it, man.
Big
We
facts,
used to
man.
look. Growing up in Patterson, bro, we had a group of fellas surrounding us, a big circle, and two of us be in the middle, toe to toe.
Wow.
I snuck this one dude, man. I snuck him. Bow! I'm just being real. I know y'all think I'm crazy, man, but it's real, and right in that. But look,
Well, I'm glad you beat the odds, brother, and you right there with your queen. You guys are relaxed and living and enjoying, man. And that's what that's what I look to do, and that's what I hope my kids can do as well. You know
they
what I
will
mean?
do. They
Yes,
will
sir.
do.
Yes,
And I
sir.
like Kurt. Kurt, man. You catch Kurt on a good time. I don't know what you be sipping. He'll make you laugh.
Yeah, man.
Kurt
We
is
got fun.
good. He's a good.
Yeah, we
He's a good commentator, bro. I love him.
I
I
don't know
thank
where he
God
gets. I
for
don't
him.
know how he gets the energy to work all those long days,
And
and then to
look,
come in, man, and
I
then
don't
be
know
just this fresh.
what are you, security or intelligence or something? I
no,
mean, man,
no.
I see you
Shit,
sit in your
Devin,
car
time.
with your little microphone. What? I see. I can't. I guess you can't tell me because you're gonna have to kill me. You know.
Time.
Look, it wasn't anything, like
Six.
nothing compared to the Marine Corps, nothing like that. Far from
Hoorah!
the.
Hoorah!
There you,
Super Five, baby.
there
Super
you
Five.
go.
But you know what?
Music. I can still hear you guys.
Thank you, Kurt, for allowing me to come on, man. And hey, keep me hooked. I'm a subscriber and everything, so I enjoy what you do.
Appreciate you, James. I
And,
appreciate
and,
it,
and,
man.
and I enjoy what you do because and there's other good commentators out there, but I enjoy what you do, man, and how you break down what you're talking about. A lot of people be talking all this, but they don't break it down. You break down what you're talking about.
Right, right.
You think I'm crazy,
Yes.
don't you? I am.
No. I mean,
I am.
I think you're crazy. That means I'm crazy right with you.
Well, I'm along with you, man, because I listen to you
Crazy.
sometimes, bro. When I listen to you, whether you be in your car or whatever, man, you'll say so. But it's all good, man. And see, the thing is, when now that we have all come together as a family, I'm not a casual boxer. I'm a boxing fan all the way back. Muhammad Ali was my first, and all the way up, because heavyweights was really being shown on TV networks, right? And then you start seeing the middleweights and all of them come along, Wild World of Sports and all that. I remember Buddy McGirt. I remember Dad going all 1984 gold Olympic medalists. I mean, look,
Do you have school tomorrow or the next
one day we'll have a little test and talk about who beat who. Because I'm gonna
Okay.
be honest with you, a lot of these young cats can't deal with those guys from back in the day. And I believe that.
Yeah, I do too, man. Well, James, man, it was good having you on, brother. Still, man, keep subscribing. I'm glad you came on, man. You could talk to the man himself, Mr. Bill Haney.
Thank you, James.
Interview.
Where my
but
wife
James,
at? Hey, baby, where you at? Where my wife at? Introduce her to the family, baby. It's all good. Thank you very much.
she's still hiding.
Well, she had to go do, I don't know.
Tell the
female
queen,
stuff.
tell your queen, we salute and we wish you guys well.
Hey, queen. Hold on, wait a minute. Cover yourself up. Get up under that bed. Shut up. Get up under this. Get up under that cover. The queen wish you. They wish you.
God bless them.
She said, God bless you.
Queen. Okay.
Get up under that cover.
God bless you.
Shut your mouth up. I need help. I need help. Look, I need help.
Good night.
My name is James Kelly. I need help.
Good night.
Help me, somebody. It's all good though. I got a good wife. I'm blessed.
Yes, sir.
I'm very blessed, man. I thank God for her, man. She blessed me with 2 beautiful children. My daughter
How long
graduated.
have y'all been married?
It'd be 24 years come May.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
wow.
That's right.
Yeah,
Good.
and my daughter graduated from North Carolina Central in Durham, North Carolina, with a bachelor's in mass communications. My son, he's a junior at Fayetteville State, North Carolina, but he's doing it virtual, because of the pandemic. So I am blessed, because if I were raised him in Patterson, I'd probably be dead.
No telling.
Word is bond.
Yeah, it's a challenging
But anyway,
area.
oh, more than challenging, Jack. You better be writing in Zach, and going over to New York City, Manhattan, Bronx, nothing is nothing. But it's all good, man. It's beautiful how you make it, man. And if you don't put yourself in the predicaments, you can make it through. So thank you, both of you, for taking the time to talk to me.
All right.
God bless.
All right. God bless.
All right. Take care. All right. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's that passion. That's that engagement you need. You know what I mean? And I'm glad you allowed him to come on and speak his mind, speak his piece, speak his passion. That's what it's about.
That's that real love, man. That's that real love that we be speaking of. When you earn that, you earn the respect and the admiration of the fans, and and it's everything. It's like that's what as Devin being young, and that's what we wanted to do one day, that fans know about him, and they want to see him, right? They want to see him, and they want to see him in those big fights, so you know what I mean. Thank you for the brother coming on and sharing his story. We appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man, no doubt. We got shout outs to Aiden Strade. Thank you for the super chat. Bill, what do you think about Devin and Shakur down the road? And you think Shakur's style will be hard? And what would you like to see Devin next 5 fights?
Hard. Hell yes. Shit, that style is hard. Shakur is a bad boy. Shit. And and like I always say, the fans is gonna be the winner of that one, he has a great management team that's moving him, and they're moving him in a good way. His manager, James Prince, has been a mentor to me in business and stuff. So it has all the makings to be one of those big legendary events. That people get dressed dressed up, and you have fight parties, and you put on your best outfit and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's where we think that kind of fight will be. But yeah, Shakur's a bad boy. Been a bad boy for a long time.
Man, I've always been a fan of the foundation. The foundation is training, preparation, and sparring. So I seen them spar.
Ooh, wasn't that good? Ooh.
Man, I seen Shakur Stevenson. I seen Devin Haney. And you can tell they were raising each other because nobody wanted to be that guy. Nobody wanted to be that guy that was getting outdone by that other guy.
Right.
Man, you know what I mean? It was. Did I know that was one of those things where I see a lot of sparring, and I call them. It's called counterpunch sparring. It's going to be a new platform, totally different series that I'm gonna start. It's going to be about sparring wars, things you heard. That's why I know what goes on in sparring stays in sparring, but that's only in preparation of other fights. When these guys just for shits and giggles get it, hey, let's go for 2-3 days and see what these guys can do. Like I seen T.O. and Tank. I seen T.O. and Tank. Now it was pretty. I mean, it was only a round, but these guys really put it down, and it was something magical to see.
Absolutely.
Something magical, man. And I was like, and then, and I seen Shakur and I seen Devin Haney, and I seen how their styles collided.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it formed, it was like a puzzle. It was like watching a puzzle being put together. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so I'm really passionate about sparring because that's where it all starts. And people that say
Shakur, we got a chance to spar Shakur. That wasn't the first time, right? Or the last time that that sparred. We've been, sparring and working with Shakur since Devin had been young. You know what I'm saying? And Shakur and his grandfather opened up their gym and opened up, you know what I mean, their whole life and everything to what they had accomplished up until then. They opened it up to us, you know what I mean, like family. Shakur then came and stayed with Devin, stayed with us at the house, for weeks at a time, you know what I mean. So I consider them like almost like God brothers or something, you know what I mean. But with that saying, we won't neglect Shakur with the opportunity to fight Devin, and I don't think Shakur will neglect the opportunity for Devin to fight him. And I'm sure that you know what I mean. They're very competitive, so they don't need no hype or no promotion to get them going. You know what I mean? When the time is right and they get together, you know what I'm saying. It's going to be everything that the people want to see.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because what we're talking about is competitive good blood. We always talk about the bad blood, the trash talking, the deep rooted, whatever. We don't never understand what can sell a fight is the connection between the people and the connection that they already have. De La Hoya and Sugar Shane Mosley were friends, put on 2 hell of a fights. Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti did 3 fights, and I couldn't tell you who won what. I think Ward won the first one, but the point I'm trying to make is the fights were so dynamic and so action-packed that you really didn't even know who the winner was. That's the type of fights you really want. That's the type of fights you want to produce. That you mean, who won that fight? Man, I don't know who won that fight. You know what I mean? Those are the type of things you really want to see in the sport. And I think it came from good blood. You know what I mean? And because it's not all about negative and how can you pin this guy against the other guy. It doesn't have to always be about that. Yes. So, I think that's really important. And I think that's a positive picture you can paint for other people because a lot of guys think that, hey, you know what? I guess I can, talk some trash about this particular fighter to get an edge. You don't have to do any of that at all.
Absolutely.
But man, I tell you, I thank you for coming on. I know everybody enjoyed it. Again, people are going to watch this from time to time to come.
Let me answer the question with the brother about the 147, having the power to go up to 147. When you talk about at welterweight at 147 with Floyd, Okay, you talk about his first world title at welterweight was Baldermere, right? No, let me see. No, because we got Zab there. Okay. His first world title is against Zab Judah here, because he had the super lightweight title against Arturo Gatti, and I believe Shambe Mitchell. It doesn't say whether it was that a welterweight or was that at
him and Shambe Mitchell fought at 140.
140. Okay, so when you talk about 147, then you talk about Zab Judah, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a UD.
Right.
That was his first one, right? You talk about Carlos Baldomir, UD, Oscar De La Hoya, split decision. Then you got Ricky Hatton. He got a TKO with Ricky Hatton. Then you talk about another UD with Juan Manuel Marquez. You talk about Shane Mosley, UD. Then Victor Ortiz was a knockout. And then he had a UD with Miguel Cotto, Robert Guerrero.
That was a 154 there.
Another majority decision with Saul Alvarez,
Another
Marcos Maidana again, UD, 140 Pacquiao UD, Berto UD. So when you talk about at welterweight, actually stopping guys, he only stopped out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 fights. It was only out of 15 fights, let me see, 15 fights, it was one knockout with Ricky Hatton, one with Victor Ortiz, and that's it. So it was only 2 knockouts out of the 15, right? So we understand that. We know that he's a smaller fighter moving up, and Devin would, of course, be a smaller fighter as well, too. But that's what the whole challenge is about, right? It's not being right here because these guys don't want to fight him. So eventually, you know what I mean? I mean, he gets resistance, I should say. But, you know, as he goes up the ladder, you know, the line will get longer, right? And, you know, having the power and to win, right? That's what Floyd, we learned from Floyd, is to win. You see what I'm saying? And all those fighters that he fought were the power fighters. Those were the fighters that had all the knockout power that they were saying that, you know what I mean, that was going to present the problem for him. So, you know, the Shane Mosleys, the Canelo Alvarez's, and all those guys, you know, De La Hoyas and stuff. So, you know, I think that he has a certain skill set that can take him up there and he can win, right? You know, of course, he's 22, and there's no telling in terms of manpower, you know what I mean, grown man, physical strength, but that's not what we're banking on. We're banking on the skills to pay the bills, you know what I mean, versus the power.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, Floyd wasn't known for that. He's a smaller fighter going up, but it just shows you the skill. That's what made it challenging. He's fighting guys that could knock him out.
Right.
He's fighting guys that could hurt him. And the same thing will be for Devin Haney. The same thing will be for all these fighters that think look, even Tank Davis, and I expect Tank Davis to go up too. And everyone say, oh, he's too short, he'll be fat and this, that. Listen, Manny Pacquiao's 5'6", 2. If he can do it, so Tank should be able to do it. If Tank is expected to do what other fighters have already done.
Right.
So it's going to happen. It's going to be, hey, the knockouts are not going to come unless you're just something special. You know, but that remains to be seen, and we will see on that day.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I think
Pacquiao's 5'5.5".
And what's Tank Davis? 5'6"? So he's even taller than Manny then.
Let me see, what is Tank Davis?
Or is he shorter than him?
I don't think he's no 5'4".
Tank walked around at 245.
Hold on, let me see.
Oh man.
Five and a half.
Okay.
They're both the same size.
Same height. You can miss me with the reach because you know Manny got a little short arms.
Yeah, and Manny came up all the way from, you know what I mean? Manny came all the way from like way smaller weight, I think, into like, I think he's like 7 or 8 division world champion or something like that. 8.
Birth weight, yeah.
He's 8. Yeah,
It's small.
8, so, yeah, it can happen. I mean, it can happen.
There you go. See, and a lot of people doubt that. I think he should be able to come up. That's why, like someone like Loma, he stopped at 135. He could have kept going.
Well, yeah, because he won the gold medal at 132.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know what I mean? He was an adult then. So, you know what I mean? It's not like he couldn't go up if he wanted to.
Just eat a little bit. He can make it.
Yeah, you know, that's the whole thing, is to put on size, to put on muscle. I mean, you know, Canelo is daring to be great. You know what I mean? I think that's why, you know, he's considered the pound for pound star in boxing, because when he was young, he dared to be great. He fought Floyd, right? And Floyd told me that kid was going to be good. He says no. I said, how was he? He said no. He said he's good. He's good. He's going to be around.
That's good.
And he said Manny can punch too. He told me that too. He told me he's like no, Manny can really punch. I was like, can he for real, Floyd? He was like, no, he can punch. So
he packs a punch in there, you know. I mean, he stopped Cotto. I mean, I know that was a catch weight at 145, but he stopped Cotto.
Yep.
You know, so that just, well, you know, because I felt bad for Cotto in that fight, because Cotto was starting to get hit with punches that he couldn't see, you know, and he has that thin skin also. No, man, and they stopped it. I'm like, thank God they stopped it, because, I mean, I was really worried about Cotto. I mean, Cotto's a good fighter now. He's tough. You know, he's done his thing. But certain fight is levels to this.
Absolutely.
But I commend you on not talking trash, not saying certain things, just speaking the truth and uplifting all of these fighters, not just your son. So that's positive. That's positivity you're spreading, man, and you're planting good seeds. And I can appreciate that, man. And I thank you for coming on. Hey, and you're more than welcome to come on this show again and again.
Absolutely, brother.
If need be.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate you letting me come on, man. And I had a real good time, man, talking to you. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot different than some of the other channels that, you know what I mean? It was smooth, man. I enjoyed it. That's
good, man. I enjoyed you, and I know the audience has enjoyed you. Still, 150 people on here, long and strong, you know, and that's people that's coming in and out. So it's kind of weird in the live stream, because people might leave and then come back, you know.
No,
hey, what did I miss?
I appreciate it, King. Thank you, man. Blessings on top of blessings, man. Stay strong, man. I wish everybody in the chat well, and everyone's family, man. Be safe out here, okay?
All right, brother. Thank you, man. And then you stay good in Atlanta sunshine, because we didn't have that last.
If you see the bishops, man, tell them I said thank you, man. Everybody, like I said, in that, because you got a strong, big support in Louisiana, and all the promoters and young fighters. You know, think of Louisiana as a spot that you can go to, you know, to get your experience. You know, that's a great hub. Just like the North Carolina thing is, but that Louisiana hub for fighting, it's a great. They have a great athletic commission, right? Great commissioner down there who really wants to bring fights and bring good fights down there. You know what I mean? So I encourage everybody to give that Louisiana a look.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And I haven't given up on Las Vegas yet. It's just not the place to be right now. But I will drop into the gym to see the progress of whoever decides to train you. And I know you guys will get together for the best. You know, a lot of people.
To that, brother. We ain't gonna stop training. You can come on down. We getting it in. Okay. We getting it in. We getting it in every day. You know what I'm saying? Every day, at least 5 days a week right now. He's on the 5-day weekends off program. So if you plan on making a trip, you know what I mean, during the week, you know what I'm saying, by all means, hit me up, and I'll let you know where we cooking at.
Absolutely, man. We'll go somewhere, and I can smell that cooking live and personal. Yeah, man. We'll be good. I know you. Look, I had you past your bedtime. I'm about to go, and I'm right.
Hey, you know it. That bed is calling me.
Yeah, man. Well, look. Go ahead. Look. Go to that voice of that bed, man. I'm gonna do the same. Thank you for coming on. Thank everybody on the chat. Everybody's been Counterpunch. Be blessed, and we are out.
Peace.
Peace. Guys, appreciate you guys coming on. It was a great interview. It will be more and more. H Money Boxing, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the link. I'm glad you guys brought him on. Real smooth guy, real cool guy. But I did meet him before. You know, a lot of energy, even when I saw him then. But I had the pleasure. But you guys be good, be safe. Everybody on the chat, love and support. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.